Hello and welcome back to the Sam Beast YouTube video and a first in our series where we're looking at IT asset management in India and how ITAM has grown a huge amount over there and it's becoming a bit of a powerhouse in terms of ITAM talent and just general IT asset management. I'm thrilled, buzzing to be joined by Amit. Amit, hello and welcome.
Thanks a lot, David, and it's pleasure talking to you after so long. So, if you talk about item overall, India is growing like anything. So definitely we can talk about that.
Awesome, mate. Yeah, we've been connected for so long. We've spoken a lot on LinkedIn, and I was buzzing
Yeah.
when I saw your comment on my status saying, "Does anyone want to talk about ITAM and Inch?" I was like, "Yes, get in." Amit's seen it. He wants to get involved. So let's first of all, do you just want to briefly introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, and kind of what your experience is with ITAM?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Amit Verma, and I'm based out in Bangalore, India. So currently working with DSM Firmenich as in software asset manager. Here, it's a global software asset management where we have to take care of a lot of, ITAM, SAM, HAM, and a lot of other activities like cybersecurity and compliance as well. So overall, 20 years of experience into ITAM, including working on different tools like Flexera, ServiceNow, Aspera. So worked offshore as well. Good experience in Netherlands and Switzerland, and worked globally with a lot of global customers as well.
Nice, 20 years in ITAM, but Amit, let's go back to the very beginning, right? 20 years ago, when you first got into our wonderful industry, IT asset management, but how did you start? Where did you start? Where did you even know or learn about ITAM in India 20 years ago? What was the beginning?
So frankly speaking, it's I have never decided that I have to make my career into SAM or ITEM. It's the first opportunity, or I would say the first project that I got, and it was scheduled, and they are just looking for someone who have very good expertise into Excel and SQL and other things. But somehow when I was onboarded, I got to know that what kind of environment it is. They are looking for someone who can take care of entire software asset where they can take care of the renewals. There are a lot of complicated things. During that particular time, we don't have a dedicated SAM tool. Like now we have a lot of big tools like Flexera, ServiceNow, and other things. At that point of time, I have around a team of five engineers. We are working on an US based project which is into the aviations. So we have a big Excel sheet where we have to just look into the publishers, what kind of SKUs are there, what kind of quantities are there, what are the pricing, and then the last stage I would say that's the part of the compliance. That's more into data driven, right? We have to work on the data sets. We have to publish certain reports to the management that how much is the cost, how much is the capital that we are spending. Let's say if you are a director, you're just looking for what is the bill of material yearly and what would be the cost optimization there. But frankly speaking, that's very struggling time because we have to work on a lot of Excel reports, a lot of VLOOKUPs and macros that we need to use. So a lot of a struggle at that point of time because people are not ready to listen to what is procurement, how sourcing works, so that kind of stuff. So that's quite challenging, but I learned a lot from my first job, frankly speaking. And while I'm working in
Nice,
India,
mate.
it's a night shift. We have to work in USRs, and then then again we have to work in daytime. Yeah, so that's kind of environment there because it's
Yeah.
more into, you would say, at that point of time, it's a kind of back office work, but now it's more aligned to the ITIL principles and other things. So that's quite interesting.
So you have experience in using the world's most used ITAM tool, which is Excel, which I'm
Yeah,
sure you're
correct.
still doing and using reports
Yeah,
now. So 20 years
definitely.
ago, it may have been 20 years ago, mate, but things really haven't changed that much in terms of people still use Excel for ITAM on a daily basis now. It's just
Indeed.
maybe additional sophisticated tools have entered the world as well.
Yeah, because if you talk
But you love
about
Excel.
that, yeah. Still we are using Excel. We download the reports from the tool like Flexera 1 and other things. And again, we have to work on some pivots and other things. So definitely Excel is the number one tool at that point of time, and still we are using it because there are a lot of other tools, but definitely we are working on reports where we have to, do some kind of costing and budgeting for other stakeholders. That's why we are still using it. But yes, if you talk about now, it's more into tracking the assets, creating some strategies for the entire item piece, and then we talk about the cost saving, governance, and there are a lot of things related to risk management, right? Let's say if we are over deployed, if we are using some applications or software which is end of support, are we aligned? Are we not using any vulnerable softwares, right? Those kind of things. So that's the entire transition. We're now working more into Excel. Now it's more into the governance piece. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And before Amit, we look at the evolution of ITAM in India. Personally, for you, what do you love about IT asset management? What gets you excited and motivated for the day?
Well, frankly speaking, it's more into coordinating with different team members or teams. First of all, it's not only the entire item team. It's related to you have to deal with the Active Directory team. You have to deal with the IT team, how they are creating the packages, how the overall deployment is going to do, right? And nowadays it's like it's a blend of financial, technical, and strategical thinking because while you're working with the technical people, and then on the secondary side you have to work with the strategical leadership team who are the owner of the budget, right? Who are going to pay for your strategies. If you
Yeah.
say something that, hey, I'm looking for that kind of thing, but where's the dollar amount coming? So these are the directors who are going to pay for that. So we have to convince them that if you are spending something in item or software asset management, you have to convince them. So that's the best thing because you have to work with multiple stakeholders and learn from everyone, right? There are times when I'm pitching something that we are non-compliance. Can we use this tool? But we don't have the budget. Then accordingly, we have to work on some reporting. We have to work on different data sets. There are times when I I'm talking about like close to 2009 when there is nothing where we can scan the SKUs and the barcodes. There are hard copies of software licenses that we have to capture in the files. Those were the days. But when we are dealing with the sourcing team, the IT team, and the vendors, that's a wonderful job because you have to negotiate on the costing. You have to work on the publisher negotiation on different things. So that's the most amazing thing that I like.
Mate, I love that answer. Right, I think whenever we do these interviews with people and you ask them why they love IT asset management, you hear about wanting to make a difference, cost savings, optimization. I think you might be the first person that has ever actually said that they love the stakeholder management and the networking
Yeah.
and building those relationships, like you rightly said, with those key teams. I think I love that as well. I'm going to be honest. It's obvious. I do a YouTube channel about ITAM, for goodness sake. I
Yeah.
love talking about ITAM. I love talking to the stakeholders. It's so nice and refreshing to hear when I ask someone, what do you love about ITAM? That they turn around and say, building those relationships, that stakeholder
Yeah.
management, learning from other people. That's what an epic answer.
Yeah, and even if you are
I
sending
love
a lot of
that.
emails, yeah, it's like from my own experience, if you're sending a lot of emails, that doesn't make sense. You just have to pick the phone and you can directly speak to the person. If you have a good rapport, then the things will be resolved in few minutes, right?
Nice. Love that. Right, let's move away from Amit, okay? Let's look at
Yeah.
ITAM in India as a whole. And you mentioned you started, like a lot of people do, you kind of fell into ITAM. You didn't proactively go out and seek a career in ITAM, but you've ended up in ITAM and you love it, which is awesome. What kind of maturity and what kind of levels have you seen ITAM change since 20 years ago when you first started to now within, India, Indian companies, Indian ITAM professionals? How have you seen it grow and expand in that last 20 years?
Well, specifically, if I talk about India, it's shifted from I would say, the reactive compliance function now into the strategical business enabler, where we have to deal with some global enterprise customers where we have to, work on some strong frameworks because previously it's not there. Now, I mean, at that point of time as well, we have ITIL, but people are not, enabled to use that. People are talking about more into the compliance, but now it's SaaS, now it's cloud. Now, if you talk about now we have FinOps. So that's really helped to understand the entire, I would say, position of item as a service and compliance or software asset management as a, enabler for the entire enterprise. So that kind of stuff is not there previously, but now it's more into that, and we can get the granular information. So that will really helps. And now, previously there are tools like we do have certain tools, but not that much mature. It doesn't provide you some granular information. Let's say how many cores are there, how many, what is the I would say the hardware position, what kind of processors, cores, and other information are there. So now it's into more into it makes us a more enabler to get the virtual information, IP addresses, and a lot of information that will help us to optimize the licensing piece. So that's really helpful. And we have certain people where people have less experience who are very good in reporting, but there are people who doesn't have good expertise in licensing and other things. So from
Yeah.
middle manager, I would say, then you have to work on as a consultant, then a senior consultant, then would be like a SAM manager or something, because it's like step by steps you have to grow in that field. So that kind of thing is really interesting to merge into the entire SAM piece. Yeah.
Nice. And how have you seen the ITAM community in India grow in that time? Because I can imagine 20 years ago, you might have been one of, people might not have heard of ITAM. You might have been only, one of very few people that actually was proactively doing ITAM and maturing it and evolving it. And you mentioned time in different parts of Europe and stuff like that. But how have you seen the network and the community of ITAM professionals grow in India in that 20 years?
So previously, like 10 years back, it's like whenever I say that I'm a SAM consultant, people doesn't understand what is SAM. I have to give them its software asset management, and then I have to tell them more detail that we are taking care of the license, we are taking care of the compliance and audits. But still, it's like, okay, so you have a tool and it would be fixed. And it's very hard to convince them that it's not only the tool that it fixes it. So it's more into,
Yeah.
creating the kind of network. And yes, indeed, India is a hub now where we have a global support center, where we have the global operation centers here for big tier one companies, where we have a lot of, people who have good expertise on the tooling side. They have good expertise on the licensing and the compliance piece. So yes, the entire item professional is growing because it's more into the IT costing and creating the strategies towards that. And yes, indeed, networking is the number one piece in item industry, because when you do networking, you will get to know that what kind of industry norms are going, what kind of challenges people are facing. Like recently, I get to meet Martin in India Connect, and there are multiple people from entire globe, and specifically from India, Bangalore. We connected a lot of people who are facing some issues in the VMware licensing because of Broadcom and other things. People are
Yeah.
facing issues on the Java licensing, Oracle piece. So when we join
Yeah.
together, we can create a kind of a strategy like what are the turnaround that you are doing, what kind of things that you are doing without the tool. So that kind of stuff is also required, because not every company have a budget to spend on item. There are certain small companies where people need only consultant to resolve some audit stuff. So networking
Yeah.
definitely works because you can understand the industry norms and what kind of challenges people are facing there.
Love that. Let's go. Look at how that's evolved in the past 10 years, even. How you're
Yeah.
communicating, collaborating, learning from everyone, which is great. And I think it goes without saying, right? You've already
Yeah.
heard Amit speaking passionately about ITAM. If you want to connect with him, he's not going to reject your request on LinkedIn. He'll accept
Yeah,
it,
for
won't you,
sure.
Amit? Come on.
Yeah, sure.
He'll accept it. So we'll
Yeah.
put Amit's link to his LinkedIn in the description on this video. So yeah, please do go over and connect with Amit, especially if you are in India and you've got some challenges or you want to bounce ideas off somewhere. Very experienced guy. Connect with him.
Yeah.
Ask him questions. And even if you're in America, Europe, whatever, just he's a lovely guy. Just go and connect with him and look at his
Yeah.
LinkedIn post. So he's as Amit has said, right? That network has expanded out. You've got a local chapter, sorry, with the ITAM forum as well, where you've had recent events, which was epic to see. So, where do you think ITAM in India is going to go? Do you just see it keep expanding, keep that networking going, maturing, or do you think that people are getting bored of ITAM in India, which I highly doubt is the case because ITAM's epic? Or do you think people are getting bored of ITAM, or can you just see it growing even more?
Yeah, I think there is a lot of future and a lot of, I would say, growing industry and the consultant here because, it's not about only software asset management or IT asset management because now if you talk about me, it's a kind of monotonous work, right? But somehow, why it's give me motivation because, I still learning the AI piece automation piece, right? There are
Yeah,
certain things like cloud, if you talk about SaaS management, right? And there are a lot of regularity and I would say compliance like DORA and other things that we have to use. It's not only item, it's like everything is merged together. When we talk about item, it would be procurement, it would be sourcing, it would be cybersecurity, right? So yes, yeah, definitely. India is growing for sure because it's an IT hub now. If you talk about the Indian Silicon Valley, it's Bangalore, right? So yes, India is growing, and more global companies are, setting up their, I would say, career opportunities here for a lot of people. And there are certain industry which are providing certain certification, which is mandate for any item consultant to grow in their career. So yes, indeed, it's growing, and there is a lot
oh
of opportunity I
really?
can see. Yeah,
Mandatory certifications.
yeah. For example, let's say if I have to hire for a certain project, I will definitely see whether the consultant is ITIL certified, whether the consultant, let's say if the project is using ServiceNow or Flexera, definitely I'm looking for that kind of certification for that consultant.
Right. Wow. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Nice. I like that. Yeah. That's obviously India's a massively competitive market as well, right? Because it's such a populous country. I guess when
Yeah.
you put a roll out, you get like way more applicants than you would in like the UK, for example, simply because the geography of the country is so big that then, yeah, to whittle the candidates down, I guess then, yeah, like you said, you're looking for certification, experience. What else are you looking for when you're putting out roles, ITAM roles? What kind of
Well,
makes people stand out for you?
well, for me, it's more into the consultant attitude because I can teach him the technology piece or the strategy. But if I have the right attitude, the person who is really passionate about item and doing something extra miles in the project, that kind of stuff is definitely needed. Secondly, if the person really have a good exposure on the cloud side, FinOps side, that kind of information is very much important
Yeah.
nowadays and someone really have an I would say like having technical expertise on doing something in the tool, right? It's not like I have to raise a ticket for every
Yeah.
instance if I'm facing issue, but he or she also have a technical expertise on the tool, then definitely that's an
Yeah.
bang on for sure.
Oh, love that attitude. Love, mate. You're saying all the right things today. Having that
Yeah,
attitude, the passion, proactiveness. I love that you're not turning around going, they need to be an IBM guru. They need to be a VMware licensing guru. You're
yeah,
more focused on the human side of things and making sure they've got that spark in their eyes and that they're passionate about what they're doing. Mate, love that. And I think that rolls nicely into my next question, which is, Amit, where do you see IT asset management going in the future? Not just in India, but the industry as a whole. You've mentioned FinOps a lot there. You've mentioned artificial intelligence, AI there. Is that the route you see it going, where ITAM is going to start consuming FinOps and AI methodologies?
yeah, definitely I can see an immense growth on those technology because now we are talking about chat gpt, we are talking about other
Yeah.
Copilot and other things, because a lot of things, if you see, a lot of things can be done through Copilot and other things, but if we doesn't have the right person from the back end, people can't understand those things. So yes, indeed, it's a growing industry, and now the entire item and SAM piece definitely moved to the more into the optimization, governance size, and strategical piece, which will definitely indeed help to the exco and the the COE of the companies, because whenever we discuss something on the upper side, costing and other things, every time that's an IT manager, the IT directors, and other people are involved. So definitely there are a lot of opportunities if I see in the FinOps and the cloud and SaaS piece.
Do you get excited when new things like FinOps and AI come along? Do you get excited about the impact it can make on ITAM and the impact that ITAM can make on it? Because, we've had loads of buzzwords in the past with like DevOps, digital transformation, all of that kind of stuff. But FinOps and AI seem like genuine disciplines that ITAM, that can benefit ITAM, but also that ITAM can benefit, FinOps and AI as well. And does that get you excited for the future? Because I know for me personally, I'm buzzing with AI and FinOps and the difference that we can make and how we can
Definitely,
leverage it with
definitely,
ITAM.
Dave. Yeah, David, whenever I see her AI or FinOps, that's a wonderful thing to, mix together as a bundle and get the output from there, because these technology nowadays is, day-to-day activity for everyone. So if we build something here on the IT piece, the FinOps, AI, and automation piece, it's really important to grow in the industry and to get some kind of cost optimization for the entire organization for sure. Yeah.
Nice. Are you using any AI at the moment? Any Chat GPT to do anything for you?
Well, we use Copilot because of certain things where
Oh,
we can do, like, let's say, if there is a meeting of n number of people and we just want to have a kind of, what are the minutes, we can get it right then and there.
yeah,
Yeah, but yes, for licensing piece, no, as of now, the no AI is used. It's only the Flexera one tool, because a lot of
yeah.
strategies
It's
that
not
needs to
quite
be
there
done.
yet. Yeah.
Yeah, lots of algorithm that needs to be done. And if you talk about the application recognition library, that needs to be updated every month so that we can get the right output and right input, right? So yes, indeed, and I'm definitely within 2 to 3 years, it would be everyone's checklist that they have to use the AI piece for sure.
But it's almost as if I've set you up with that answer, but I haven't. I promise. I've not spoken to Amit before this about this, but we actually have a series coming out in a few weeks about looking at ITAM for things like AI and FinOps and how, exactly like Amit said there, things need to improve, things need to evolve before we can really leverage AI within ITAM. So, for example, a lot of companies want to try and automate hardware requesting, software requesting, but that's not going to work. And AI isn't going to learn that if you've got a rubbish asset management database in the background, or you've got a rubbish definitive software library, or no approved software catalog and stuff like that. So I promise I haven't set Amit up for that, but it's a great segue to say in the next few weeks, we've got a couple of videos based on how ITAM will need to help AI before AI can start helping ITAM. But I promise I didn't set Amit up. He just said something that was brilliantly aligned to that
Yeah,
thought and that feeling, and how AI is not quite there yet for ITAM in terms of being able to provide information, and ITAM has a key role in making AI, in a key role in making AI ready for ITAM. But
indeed.
it's not there yet. But like Amit said, give it a few years. Give it a few years, and it could be
Yeah,
hugely beneficial, right?
yeah, indeed.
Right, Amit, I've got one last question for you, my friend. It's been an absolute
Hmm.
pleasure having you on. But my last question for you is, imagine you're sat across a new, fresh out of university person who is looking at a career in ITAM, okay? They have no previous experience, they don't know what ITAM is. What would be your advice for that fresh faced young professional just out of university? What's your advice on joining the ITAM world? Why would you join the ITAM world? And yeah, what advice have you got for someone that's just starting out in the IT asset management world?
Well, I will first say follow you and your videos, And then I would say there are a lot of articles that they have to read,
Oh,
right? Because whenever I saw your videos, it's quite interesting. There are a lot of things that I don't know, but there are a lot of things that you, as per your experience, you shared on the LinkedIn and YouTube Sam Beast channel. So those kind of things is very important. But yes, they also have to learn. I would say they have to be good understanding on the latest technologies. Like let's talk about Chat GPT. Let's talk about other licensing things that's going on. Like for the tier ones, at least they have to understand. Microsoft is the one that they can start for sure. And then Oracle, VMware, Java, IBM. These are the few vendors if they can read out certain things, how licensing works. And there are a lot of YouTube's channels and other things which are available that they can learn. But for sure, someone have to give them an opportunity to work on that because without the hands-on, it doesn't work at all, right? So those are the things I would say every new phase have to work on before they will land into the ITAM industry.